One of the key things that we want to do today is really thank the top high schools in the Houston area for their work in regards to math and science education. But to get us started, we thought about who is the most prominent CEO or former CEO in the city of Houston, and who is involved in the Greater Houston Partnership at a senior level. And one name kept coming up, and they also happen to be the husband of one of our board members. So funny that. And Larry Kellner, the former CEO of Continental Airlines, currently the vice chair for the Greater Houston Partnership, is here, and he cares a lot about math and science education. So for our welcoming remarks, please give a warm welcome to Larry Kellner.
Bob, thank you, and it's great to be here today. You to talk just for a couple of minutes, literally a couple of minutes, about why I think math and science are so important. I do want to say, if you look at the Greater Houston Partnership, one of our primary focuses is education, so this is core to our mission and kind of what we do. And I want to thank all of you who are involved in making a difference, because I realize the commitment it takes to be successful in what we do. And secondly, a lot of people ask me, geez, when you were at Continental, you were often very involved in the education side. I served on the Accountability Commission, then the Statewide Accountability Commission. Today I serve on the Public School Finance Commission, which is candidly turning out to be accountability, because it's hard to fix things when we lack money. I'm sure all of you can appreciate that. And I think that's the challenges we face. In spite of those challenges, I think it's pretty clear what you're doing makes an incredible difference. And I've got just 3 slides I want to share with you. But before I share them, and again, limited very much on my time here, I just want to take a minute or two, but the unemployment rate is big. Would everybody here agree there's a lot of conversation about unemployment? We need to put people to work. Yes. Does anybody here know what the unemployment rate in the United States is for people looking for work? So you got to be looking for work. What the unemployment rate is? About 10%, 9.5–10%. Do you think there's a difference to whether you have a college degree, or whether you have some college, or whether you have high school, or whether you have no high school? Do you think that would make a difference in finding a job? Yes. Yes. And does anybody here know, last technical question before I hit the slides, what's considered what rate of unemployment is considered full employment? Because if it's 10% today, it's 9.5–10%. There's always some people looking for work. Does anybody have an idea where we kind of figure about 4 or 5% is the standard economist view? Somewhere between 4 and 5% is full employment. And the last piece I'll tell you without answering the question is if you look through it, if you look at the population, we have about 60 million people in the United States with a college degree. So have a 4-year college degree or better. And we have about 25 million people in the United States, and these are all just looking at groups over 25. So this doesn't include kids. This is just the U.S. over 25. And unlike a lot of statistics you see, this isn't dated data. This is August 2010, Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics, their monthly report. They do a monthly report on unemployment and where the impact of education. But when you think for the 25 million people that don't have a high school degree, do you think more of them are in the workforce? Or do you think so you got to be unemployed, you got to say you're looking for a job. So do you think more of them are in the workforce, or do you think more of the college graduates are in the workforce? I won't answer for you, so I'll just kind of shoot it up for you. Here's the amazing stats. The unemployment rate, if you lack a college degree, high school degree, anything, no degree, is 14%. If you have a high school degree, it drops to about 10. If you have some college, it's about 9. And if you've got a 4-year college degree, today's unemployment rate is about 4.5%, 4.6 as of August. That's why we have a huge structural issue in the country. And it's why math and science are so important. Because if you don't get a strong base in math and science, does anybody in this room think you're going to be successful at getting a 4-year college degree? I mean, reading's really key, very key. But you've got to have that math and science side as well. You've got to have that whole package to kind of get through any college degree. Meanwhile, the other amazing stat is that only 45% of the people without a high school degree are looking for a job. So the participation rate in the workforce, I would have actually guessed before I saw these stats a while back, that it was the opposite of this, that the less education you had, the more likely you were, you needed to Now, only 45% of the people that don't have a high school degree are even considered, hey, I'm looking for a job. And of that group that holds their hand up and says, hey, I'm looking for a job, 14% are unemployed. Participation jumps way up, over 60% if you have a high school degree. Jumps up from there if you have some college, and tops out at over 75% for those who have a college degree. And if you look at the underlying earnings, now not only do you have lower unemployment, which group do you think makes more? The college graduates make a lot more, so therefore much more likely, especially married couples, for one of the two to spend some time with the children, not be in the workforce, because they've got a much higher standard of living. And so it's pretty amazing that you see both the unemployment rate and the participation rate. What it translates to is that if you're over 25 in the U.S., only 40% of the people have a job. This is the combination of unemployment and participation. So meanwhile, over 70% for those with a bachelor's degree or higher. And so you get a very 60% of the people, and you've got to believe that if there were more jobs available, if they had more skills, they'd be much more likely to looking for a job, because if you go back, it shows up kind of where you were, that the more education you have, the more likely you are to be in the workforce. And the last piece, just because I hate people who just use graphs, I won't spend much time on this slide. There's hard data behind all this, the statistics. But what it shows you is, as you look at the U.S. population over 25, it's pretty evenly split. If you pull out those with no high school diploma, a third high school graduate, a third some college, a third college graduates. But that 25 million folks, that's a huge piece of the population, aren't even making it through high school. And I think it just shows how important education is, how important math and science are, what we've got to do to get those kids through. And so my message to you is simply, here's hard current facts that what you're doing makes a difference. They've got the zero flashing at me at the time, which means I'm out of time. But I want to thank you guys all for being here, and thanks for letting me come back for